Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is The Black Madonna. It's available from Helmgast. I am the game master, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by David Gasaway as his character, Dietrich Zimmerman. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Thanks, Tom. Notes for the morning of September 18th, after the golden plaque. We were all too sick, after all, to make our lunch with Magda. I wonder if she would have been there. The timing is still blurry to me. When we could pull ourselves together enough to enter the world again, we met instead with our mutual friend, Irina Adler. She hasn't been unwell. Adler described some of Magda's difficulties, including time in an East German prison, and encouraged us to take her key and check Magda's apartment. The group of us, I realize, is a little strange, all of us perhaps a bit visionary. I tried to peer beyond the veil, and it seemed to me that all of our flesh was modeled, every one of us, and that something squirmed beyond, like a great vile coffin worm. We found Magda's flat empty. She seems to have left quickly. She's abandoned work and ignored calls from an increasingly frantic and paranoid Philip, the ex-husband. We took the liberty of going through her recent mail. There are threads there to follow. Who is Piotr, and what is the meaning of the scrawled postcard, "I saw him"? We also found a stack of her journals and took them with us. One alludes to rituals and responsibilities with a group she calls only SA, with members including Sasha and Anton. Were they the men with Philip? The most recent entries describe dreams like the ones we're having, and her deepening, even suicidal distress, which she hid from us at the gala. Did she infect us intentionally? We've also taken a ring of her keys. We think we know what some of them open, and we've come back to Berlin. The itching just worsens. Magda described boils. The nightmare's gotten worse too, and it hurts now. So much pain. Today we shall visit Magda's Berlin flat. I fear what we will find.
And so we've all returned to Berlin. The Brandenburg Gate, a monument to peace, is once again accessible to all Berliners. Lights illuminate the four-horsed chariot against the night sky. The divided city is restored. The Germany is whole once more, yet the scars from the Berlin Wall that once tore the city apart are slow to heal. Many sections of the Berlin Wall many sections of the abomination still stand as grim reminders of the nightmare the city lived through. Nowhere in the country is the contrast between the former West and East Germany more evident. The Western city features modern facilities, shopping gallerias, and luxury boutiques selling Estee Lauder. The Eastern city is dominated by Stalinist architecture, crumbling infrastructure, and antiquated factories forced to shutter, unable to compete economically. Money from the West pours in to revitalize the eastern sections, but the extra taxes instituted to pay for the renewal generate significant resentment among the Westerners against their eastern brothers and sisters. Berlin is a microcosm of 1991 Germany, the beginnings of a new future together. You've arrived back in Berlin. You've probably all gone to your houses or flats. You've rested for the evening, not so well, with nightmares. Now it's the morning. You all planning on doing today? Say it's 8:30 a.m. To meet somewhere.
I assume that Zelma has classes today, and so I'll go and check on the shop and give instructions to the fellow who's keeping it open for us before we meet up. I assume we'd set a time, maybe 10 or 11.
Okay. What's your employee's name?
Jakob. Jakob Fleischmann. He'll take care of it, not a problem. So what did you say, 9:30 or so you're going to meet at a common location? All right, we'll just say that you meet at a common location. You're not exactly sure how Dieter got the message since he had vanished, but Dieter's there looking over his shoulder every 5 minutes. What do you know about the neighborhood on Liebnitzstrasse that Magda's apartment is in? Is it a commercial district? Are we meeting at a coffee shop down the street, or is she in the hills? Is there any? If there is something,
it's a fairly decent neighborhood. Much nicer, of course, than East Berlin.
Yeah, so we probably meet at a public place just so that we're together when we go to the flat.
All right. So you head on over to where Magda's apartment should be. Magda's apartment is a 7-story tenement. Looks like it was built maybe in the 1920s with dark, heavy stones. It's angular in design. The building has small windows and was recently renovated with a yellowish gray facade. It was constructed around an inner courtyard with a bicycle shed and laundry room. Its yard is paved over with bridgestones and has a few poorly tended trees and scattered junk. Small cast iron street lights weakly illuminate the yard once it gets dark. There's a main gate, and the main gate is locked. But it does look like there are people living here. It's just security. There is a phone with people's names on it. Mm-hmm. One of them is Magda Orlova.
We did pick up some keys as well, didn't we?
Yes, and one of them fits the gate.
I do hope we're going to find her there. Should we not ring just as a courtesy?
Oh, of course. I don't think she'll answer, but.
All right. You ring. It rings a couple of times, but there is no answer.
I don't like this. Everyone, just please be careful.
Where have you been anyway, Dieter? Like you didn't meet up with us the other day.
I think I am being followed, so I made my own way back, so you guys were not interrupted. Mm-hmm. But please be careful. I do not know if they have caught back onto my scent.
May I ask if you've also continued to have difficult dreams?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I have, but very difficult. And that does not help my current situation.
All right. Well, probably most of what we were looking for was in the Hamburg flat, but we might as well see if there's any sign of her having been here. She took luggage away, so she didn't come here. Well, let's see. Is there any sort of internal map so that we know? And I assume it was
Yeah, there's a room down there.
right. You said it was 7
Apartment.
stories, but what floor is she on?
She is actually on the first floor.
Oh, first floor, England.
Oh, she's on the ground floor. Sorry.
Ground floor. All right. Good. Anybody hanging out in the courtyard?
Nobody.
Also,
You
good.
can hear noise, coming from
Sure.
around.
There's probably pigeons and laundry and things.
Pigeons and laundry, and there's noises. Somebody's playing music, not too loud, but it's up a couple stories. And
I was just worried about the two ladies, standing with their mops, staring at a bunch of strangers coming in and going into an apartment. I didn't
yeah,
like that.
you don't notice that. So, what would you like to do?
We'll knock on the door once or twice just to be polite, but I don't think we'll find her.
You go up and you knock on the door. You think once you do that you do hear something inside. It sounds vaguely like moaning.
Somebody come over.
Let me have a listen.
Maybe she's gotten worse. Petra, why don't you call? I think,
Magda? Magda.
There's no answer, but you do also think that you hear somebody, making a distressing sort of
Oh, she doesn't sound good. We should go. We should
Yeah,
go
let's
in.
go in.
Yes.
All right. The key works on the door. You've got a key for the door. You open the door, and much like her Hamburg apartment, it's in disarray. There's stuff all over the place. It's obvious that she's brought the suitcase inside with her clothes, and it's open and half strewn across the room. And there's a strong smell of that perfume that she wears. You're in an entrance hall. And I'm just going to assume that you go on through. You can see that there is a kitchen directly ahead of you. And then there's a hallway to your right. And that leads into a study. You can see there's books and magazines and things and bookshelves, and there's a computer on the desk and so forth. There's a bathroom, which once again shows traces of vomit and various medications strewn across the floor. And there's a bedroom. The bedroom door is open. And as you're approaching, you can see that Magda is wrapped in a bathrobe, and she is lying in bed. She's appears to be either asleep or delirious, tossing back and forth and muttering things. Some of it sounds Russian, some sounds German, but it's just garbled nonsense. Her skin, she's bloated quite badly, and there are boils all over her arms and legs and feet and onto her face. And as you're looking, you can see that the boils are semi-translucent, and that there's something inside them like worm or maggot or something with little black heads sort of squirming around. And she is obviously in a great deal of pain and agony, but she's delirious.
I'm going to find her phone and call a hospital.
Okay. You can call a
Yeah.
hospital or call ambulance.
You know, I don't.
Equivalent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 911 systems existed yet, so I think you called the nearest hospital. I'm
Or you called the
wrong about
operator.
that.
You
Yeah.
called the operator and told them you had an emergency. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a thorough search of the like for I will because
All right.
I'm paranoid anyway, so I'm just doing a
All right.
thorough checking under the lights, everything.
Dietrich, you managed to get a hold of the operator. She patches you through to the emergency. They're going to send an ambulance immediately.
Thank you very much. We'll be
So
waiting.
you have about 10 minutes probably before they arrive. Dieter, you said you're looking around for what? People? Hiding in the apartment?
People. I'm also checking like around light bulbs and stuff for anything
No,
like
okay. You're looking for
taps and
spies.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Does she have an answering machine here?
There is an answering machine, but it's unplugged. Where are you guys looking around? I mean, if you guys are going to look around, where do you look around? Where do you stay? with her?
I'm gonna concentrate on staying with Magda.
I'll be
I'm
checking
concerned.
Magda's room first because
You're in Magda. Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'll be checking. So
Okay. You can also see that a couple of other things that I forgot. You can see that she's been scratching herself. You know, there's obviously scratch marks all over her. This room also has a strong smell of incense. And when you look over, she has a little incense thing and a candle lit in front of an icon of the Virgin Mary. So you're going to look around.
Does she have? You said she had a study.
Yeah, kind of the middle of the room is her office study, if you will.
Okay, I want to look through that.
All right. She's got a desk. There's an old Apple Macintosh Plus. There's a corkboard with notes and dates. But the newest one that you can find of her notes is about 6 months old. There are bookshelves on the wall. Half of their contents is missing. They mostly contain literary and cultural history magazines. None of them are more recent than half a year ago. The office appears relatively clean and tidy, but it's more like as if no one has used it for a while. She also has a number of periodicals. One of them is there are 11 years worth of a periodical called the Slavic Forum. But the most recent issues are present, but the 17 years between 1972 and 1989 are missing. Dieter, you're looking around the bedroom. I still want to say, do a spot hidden for me.
no. However, I may do a perception because I feel like
Okay,
Investigate.
do a perception. Yeah, you can do an investigate. Do an investigate. I always forget that.
Yeah, yes, my perfect investigation. Let's go. I don't think a 4 is gonna cut.
Okay. It just means that you're looking around the room and you're looking for bugs and things, and you don't find any. Dieter, well, I mean, Dietrich, what are you up to?
I'm going to go into the bathroom and look for a clean cloth and run cold water over it
Okay.
and take it into Magda and put it on her head.
Okay.
We need to get, there are things that only she can tell us. And if we can't bring her around before the medics come, we're not going to have another chance, I think. I wonder if I should try to act under pressure in this regard, or if there's something more appropriate.
I think it sounds, what you're talking about sounds just completely reasonable. It's what anybody would do. The only thing you really notice in the bathroom is that the bathtub is half filled with cold water and soap. And it reeks of the perfume. But you easily find some clean towels and get them wet and bring them in. And when you touch her with them, she reacts because it's cold, unless you warm up the water. But in any case, she reacts as if it hurts, where you're touching her with it. And as you're looking, you begin to notice that these things, these maggots or whatever they are inside of these boils, they seem to be reacting to your shadow or to the light. They don't like the light as much. They like, they move around if the light's too bright on them.
And does she feel hot? I can only assume that she's feverish.
She feels actually clammy.
Oh, all right. Are there some curtains I can open?
Yes.
I shall bring in as much daylight as I can.
When you do that, when you open up the curtains and bring in the daylight, she actually reacts worse. She begins to shake violently, and you can see the little worms inside of her are not liking it.
I'll pull it closed. I can't torture her.
John, what are you doing?
I'm kind of perversely fascinated by this, thinking that I'm more interested in what's going on with her and waiting to see if she has a moment of lucidity or wakes up at some point. So I'm probably with the professor and Dietrich, either in the doorway or in the room watching her.
Okay. Do a perception roll.
Yeah. Oh, okay. 12.
As she sort of is flopping around now because of the sunlight, sort of the bed sheets sort of uncover a book that she was reading. It's unusual looking until you pick it up. Not sure if you recognize it, but the genre is not entirely unfamiliar to you.
Oh. By our good friend, Mr. Kramer.
Yes. And it looks like it's well worn, and she's been reading through it. Some of the pages are dog-eared, so forth.
Black Sun Publishing. Have I ever heard of Black Sun Publishing?
Not really. You think they're foreign probably, although they're located in Berlin. Some of the dog-eared pages, she seems to be focused in on the idea of cursing somebody through their dreams. that people can become cursed by evil people by damaging their dreams. It's like she was trying to figure out what was going wrong with her.
I have a feeling I'm going to read that book. Yeah, see, well, at least someone's got their eye on. Someone's got their eye on her. I'm going to sit and flick through this and see if I can work out what she found.
You can hear the sirens coming. Does anybody else want to do anything? Look around.
Yes, I was also going to look around, maybe through her luggage that she brought with her, and just kind of
Okay.
poke her. I don't want to be near her because that is frightening to me.
It's pretty horrible. And it seems to be escalating. It seems to be getting worse even as you're
Gotcha.
standing there.
Okay.
You look through her luggage and you don't find anything of any value. I mean, it's just stuff she sort of threw into a suitcase to hop on a train and come here. But nothing else.
Okay.
Professor Onan.
Can I make a read a person roll, please?
Sure. Who do you want to read?
I would like to read Magda. I have rolled 4.
You accidentally reveal your own intentions to the person you're trying to read. Well, that doesn't really work. But you can reveal to me what your intentions are. Usually
Well, I was trying to find out what she would wish me to do. So yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly disguising the fact either. So
right. She seems almost oblivious to your guys' presence. You hear the ambulance pull up outside, and the paramedics come rushing out. They can see the door open. They can see you standing there. So they come rushing in. Where's the patient?
through here, quick.
So they immediately come in, and you notice them step into the room. One of them goes over to the other side of the bed and takes her pulse, and he puts the blood pressure thing on her, checks her eyes. She seems to be having a heart attack or something like that. So they work on her for a few moments, and they're going to take her to the hospital, which is what is it? It's memorized. Max Hospital. Max Berger Hospital, yes.
Do they make any kind of indication that they can actually see these wounds and things moving around in them? Because I would have thought that they would have been taken aback by them rather than going straight for doing her pulse.
They don't seem to notice them.
Okay.
Would one of you accompany us in the ambulance? One of your relatives, or
Yes, I'll stay with her. Yes.
okay. So you climb into the ambulance with them as they transfer her body there.
I'll ask one of them if they've got some rubber gloves.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think it'd be right to hold her hand, but I'm worried that it might be infectious.
By now, the other tenants in the apartment building have gathered around. One of them looks like she might be the landlord, and she's, who are you people? Why are you in Magda's apartment? How did you know? Whatever. She starts to ask a lot of questions.
So I'll I'll kind of do it. Like, look, we're friends of hers. We knew that we were at the Golden Plaque Awards. We knew that she was unwell, and we wanted to check on her.
What's
we had
wrong
plans
with her?
we don't know. We don't know, but she's been the paramedics thought it best to take her to the hospital. So whatever it was pretty serious. So I'm glad that we decided to check in on our friend.
Yes. She gave us the key when we were all in Hamburg, and I'm going to go inside and pack a small bag for her for the hospital so that she
Okay.
has something when she's released, I say. And then I go and look for anything inside the apartment regarding SA.
All right. Well, in that case, do an investigate. Yeah.
One. 12, 13.
You may ask one question. The information comes at a cost, right? What's your question going to be?
How can I find out more about the SA inside her
Okay.
apartment?
You look through the correspondence and things on her desk, and you look through some of the others. There's a lot of magazines and papers and stuff lying around. You eventually find a number of things with names on them that you're looking for. Anton, Philip, and
Sasha?
Sasha. The last names aren't there, but eventually you find something that congratulates Magda for being elected vice president of the Slavic Association, SA. And about, we'll say Ingolf is with you. He notices that all of the Slavic Forum magazines it's the magazine of the Slavic Association.
And they're 17 years missing from them. I don't know where they are.
If you observe the magazines themselves, you can sort of glean what the Slavic Association is. What it is it was an organization established after World War II for immigrants or for orphans from Russia who didn't know what their background was and couldn't gain access to any records in Russia. So they wanted to find out more about their past. This association worked with the Russian government and so forth to try to get records for children who had been lost and so forth.
So naturally, they have secret occult exercises. Yeah, very dark. The magazine must have publication data, and that must have an address.
That is Dark Sun Publishing. And the Slavic Association is located at
Black Sun.
So let me confirm that I do think that it's in the same building.
So it's Black Sun and Dark Sun?
I'm sorry, I meant Black Sun. I'm pretty sure it's the same. You can also find out from some of the magazines that the president of the Slavic Association is Anton Mahler. Vice President Magda Orlova, secretary, well, you don't get the secretary. There's a few other people that you don't recognize the names.
Any Alex in the masthead?
I'm sorry.
Anyone named Alex is it in the masthead?
No.
Well, before I go out of the apartment, I'm going to pocket a couple of magazines and also throw some of her stuff back in the suitcase and carry it out.
To the hospital.
At
Is
least
that
carry it out of the building.
Is
We're
that your
gonna-
intention then? Go.
I'd like to ask the landlady something before we do leave. Have you noticed anyone visiting Magda in the last day or two?
Oh, just her friends. Um, not in the last day or two,
Oh,
but
no, no.
they
okay.
visit her occasionally.
Does she seem strange or odd to you
Well,
in the
she's an
last couple
odd
of days?
woman.
Oh, yeah, yes, she is.
Um,
More so than usual.
She says, "Well, I don't know a great deal about her. I know she was married, and then her husband died, and then she was married, I think, again, or perhaps the other way around. But other than that, she works all the time."
Mm. Very well.
In the apartment, you do find photographs of Magda with that man, Philip. You can see pictures of them.
Mhm.
But you also see her in another picture married to somebody else, a wedding photo. Looks like she's younger. All right.
We thought she'd been married multiply, didn't we?
I think we knew that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Does the incense, do I recognize it? Is it frankincense? Is it something Asian? Is it?
Oh, no, it would be something, it would be frankincense mixed with some sort of, flowery sort of smell.
I want to, of course, there's a candle by the Mary shrine, so that has to go out. And I'm going to pinch out the incense. And if there are other sticks of it nearby, I'm going to pocket a couple. Not
The
that
incense-
they helped her.
Incense, it's not sticks. The incense burner looks like this. And there's a little coal inside with the incense on top of it, and it would burn. But it looks like it's mostly gone out by now. Little pieces of incense, it looks like frankincense or something like that.
Well, I will be honest. I don't want to go anywhere near Magda. That is disturbing. And so with that, I'm more inclined to check out this publishing company and maybe make a few phone calls and see if we can find out anything more about this Philip Kramer.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I assume we're having a little powwow. the
Yeah, that
five
was
of
kind of
us
my
that
intention. We're talking, yeah.
went back on the street. So I'll go and meet Bonan at the hospital and see. Now, to be clear, you saw the
Of course.
things.
And that's why I don't
inside.
want to go
Yes.
anywhere near her. That's disgusting, and it looks might be contagious.
When the paramedic
Besides-
went to put the on her arm, I thought they were going to burst them, and they didn't. Yeah, so
No, I see them as a security risk. I will not go near them.
right.
Not anymore.
So yeah, let's. I'll go and I'll take the suitcase in and check with Bonan and see if she's recovered consciousness. But I don't know that she's going to be able to receive any treatment that's going to help with what's going on. Yeah.
If you're saying that the paramedics couldn't see her condition, how are they going to cure her of it? I don't.
That's my concern. I mean, if what we're seeing is some manifestation of something that, what if we had the ability to see malaria affecting her and they can just give her appropriate treatment? Who knows? But my fear is that she's not going to be able to answer any questions.
I've never seen or heard of such a thing. These boils with maggots, worms, something in them. I don't. No, I'm not an academic. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I've just never.
Yeah,
heard of
I've
such a
heard
thing.
of parasites in,
Oof.
other
Yes,
parts of the world.
I haven't seen anything like that before, though.
No. And it seemed to cause so much pain.
And I've seen some horrible things. But,
So I'll go to the hospital. We have an address for the publisher. We know what SA is.
I believe we
Uh,
also know where Philip Kramer lives, according to Magda's.
We might even, one of these
Address book.
keys might work for
Mm.
Philip's Berlin apartment. Do we want to go our separate ways for a couple of hours and meet later in the afternoon and maybe meet at Philip's place?
Divide and conquer.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I am itching to get at Philip. I mean, his.
Poor choice of words, Eckhart.
I was just going to say, I'm just itching.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I would like to, since we're all going to end up at Philip, and that's where I want to go. I'll hold off on just going over there now, because I'm damn sure he has something to do with our condition. I don't think it's from Magda.
Why don't you go to this Black Sun Publishing? You have something of a cover, yes? You could say you're a prospective author or something.
Well, that's true. I will try to find this Black Sun Publishing. That's a good idea.
Right, and you saw the boys that were with Philip.
Yes, I would be able to recognize them if they're there. I have of the names Sasha, Philip, and Anton. Only Sasha remains a mystery. So I have a feeling this Sasha might be with this Black Sun Publishing, but we'll see.
Yes.
All right.
Are you comfortable doing that alone, Ingolf?
Yes,
you like-
yes, I'll
okay.
be fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't imagine a publishing house to be a place of dire consequences, but then again, I didn't think the Golden Plaque Awards would be either.
Yes. Ingolf, just be careful, please.
Yes, I'll be very careful.
I'm gonna go make some calls, see if I can figure out anything more on Philip Kramer. I don't know anything about him.
That is a good call.
Okay. So, Professor Bonin, as you are with Magda in there, and they are trying to save her life. They are struggling. They're saying that we're losing her. She is. We've got to get there quickly. You can see that it's almost as if there's a few of these pustules, these boils on her body that maybe because of the way they're handling her, they're all over her. Some of them are bursting a little bit, and when they do, this yellow ooze is coming out, but the paramedics don't seem to notice it. Get to the hospital and they take her in immediately to the emergency room, and you are kind of shuttled into one area where you can see what's going on. They're taking her in to examining her. There's a large metal table. They've put her on that, and they're doing it. And about this time, Dietrich arrives, and you're in a different area than he is, but he can sort of see you through the things. There's an announcement over the PA. Dr. They call for a doctor. She comes running down the stairs, and she goes immediately through the doors to the ER. And as she does that, they kind of stick and they stay open, so that both of you are seeing them working on Magda. Now, as you're watching, and they are doing their best, they're working frantically to try to save her. You can see the little blip blip going, and it's getting more violent, and it's starting to fibrillate. And you think that they're going to probably do the paddles to get it to stop fibrillating, and they do all that. As you're watching, these little pustules on her body, they start bursting, and as they burst, these little
grub-like worms start crawling out, and they crawl out onto her body, and they sort of rear up like little lions, and as they do, their mouth parts sort of open like this, and a sound comes out. It's like fingernails on a blackboard singing Handel's Messiah, all off key. It's insane, the sound, and nobody seems to be reacting to it. She starts convulsing, and we're losing her, they say, and after a few minutes, she goes limp, and they're still working frantically on her, but eventually the doctors says, well, we have to call it time of death, the time. And they start to pull themselves apart, pull their clothes. You can see also that some of the worms are now eating Magda. And as the doctors and so forth start to move out of the room, Magda suddenly begins screaming as she's lying there. And the doctors all stop what they're doing and they immediately rush back. They don't understand because she's dead. And they do a few moments of work, but after 30 seconds or so, she goes limp again. And they're like completely dumbfounded, but they still don't seem to be able to see any of what's gone on. And these grubs are falling onto the floor, and they're still doing this very strange screeching noise. They see you by this point, and they're like, "No, you shouldn't be in here. We need to take you out. You were family, friends."
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was so terrible. We need a moment outside. Forgive me.
Please come out here.
Yes. Hurrying off with Dietrich. We need to get one of those things. Whatever they are, no one will believe it without evidence, and we stand no chance of figuring out what they are without evidence. And someone must be able to find someone somewhere who can tell us something about those things and where they come from and how she was infected. And I don't know what's going on here. It's some sort of cover-up.
You think we can actually put one of those in a jar? They can't see them even.
We can see them. I mean, if we can see them, then if we can see them and they can eat Magda, I can't believe I just said that. But if they can interact with her body and eat it, then surely that means that we could pick one up and put it in well, there must be some sort of container around here. It's a hospital, for goodness sake. So there'll be a sample pot or something.
And you don't mind giving the hospital your name and claiming to be a second cousin or something?
I don't think. I mean, they can't see these things, can they? I mean, it's.
No, but you'll look funny nicking a
Why can't they?
a urine sampler.
See them? They must be pretending they can't see them. There's something going on here. There's some sort of insurance thing.
I think I envy your pragmatism, but I think if they had seen them, they'd have been screaming and running away from them. And they couldn't have operated while that screaming was happening so close to it.
Well, look, let's not skirt around the issue. Let's cut straight to the chase. Something very odd is happening.
Yeah.
And something very odd has been happening since Hamburg.
Yeah.
Those things crawling around in there are the nearest we have to physical evidence for whatever it is you wish to term this phenomena or set.
So
I don't know what I have my suspicions, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah,
But
I take out my cigarette pack and I shake my cigarettes into my pocket and I give him the empty pack, little flip top jobby. And I say, go and say that you have to say goodbye to her before they wheel her off, and cry and try to grab one. Guess I don't want to touch them.
I shall do just that. I shall play the distraught old man.
Right.
For all I can. And
what happens
and
actually?
try and get to the body.
Well, what happens actually is this: as you go in to collect your sample, another doctor comes in and an orderly, and they're going to take her to the morgue. Excuse me, you're not supposed to be in here. Your family?
Yes. I'm terribly sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. I just need a moment with her.
What are you doing there? He has this very strange look on his face at what, you were kind of halfway in the process of getting something. It's like, we need to take the body. Please say your goodbyes and we continue.
I'll try and scoop one of these things into the cigarette packet and then say, well, a very genuine and heartfelt goodbye to Magda. It was, of course, a friend.
And once you've done that, he says, all right. Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Gustav Weiss.
Mr. Weiss. I'm sorry for your loss. And they take the body out of the room and head towards the morgue. But you do notice times as he's walking back down the hall with the orderly, he keeps glancing back at you.
Well,
and he's making the orderly hurry, quick.
I'll beat a retreat, I think.
Okay. So you're back with Dieter. And you do have one of the little caterpillar things.
The old Dietrich problem. We'll never do that again.
Dietrich.
Yes.
You both start with a diet.
Yeah. We should get out of here before we have to sign anything.
Yes. I think that's a very good idea. That orderly was enormously suspicious. I don't know what he could do, but I'd rather not find out.
It wasn't actually the orderly; it was the doctor that was suspicious.
Was he a doctor? He's so young. I mean, it's so difficult to tell these days. They don't wear proper uniforms anymore. It's not like the old days when they wore a white coat and a stethoscope. I mean, they're all wearing these green things now. I can't tell whether they're cleaners or heart surgeons. Carry on.
So you guys are making your way back out of the hospital, and hospitals are interesting places. You're walking down the path coming out of the hospital. The parking lot is there. You're halfway across the parking lot, and there's another door on the hospital down farther, part of the
probably maintenance store or something like that. The maintenance store opens, and that same doctor, he comes out and he's looking around the parking lot, and he sees you, and he immediately starts moving in your direction, waving his hand. Hello, just a moment of your time.
Sisters. Yes. Can I help you?
I don't know how exactly to say this to you, but what were you doing in there? You collected something. Yeah?
Collected something. Well, I just had this in my hand. And I'll just turn the cigarette packet.
Did you notice anything unusual about your friend? Anything?
I think I'd like to try to read this doctor.
Unusual condition. Okay.
It's, 1, 12, 13.
Ask the question.
So looking at the questions, none of the questions that are, is my impression that he saw worms? Did he see something that the others didn't?
Your impression of him is that, well, at least he seemed to see what Professor Hines was doing.
And did he respond to the cigarette box like there was something in it?
Yeah, it's like he knows that you've got something. But he says, his demeanor is a little funny to read. One is, he seems very excited. And at the same time, he seems very, very reticent to say it out loud because probably other people have told him he's nuts. He's beating around the bush a lot.
Yeah.
So as not to appear like he's nuts.
Doctor, is he wearing a tag?
Yeah, Dr. Richter.
Dr. Richter,
Hans Richter.
Our friend, his cousin, my friend, Madame Orlova, she was she's a very interesting and complicated person. She was involved in, I don't know what you would say.
Witchcraft? Black magic?
Ritual explorations that we don't understand ourselves.
So do you believe in this spiritualism? I
have an interest, but I am also a skeptic.
So if you were to describe what you saw, what did you see?
Something that wasn't purely in this realm was consuming her.
You could see them.
I'm going to open the cigarette box a little, just enough so that I can see the worm thing inside it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to lean that forward and show it to the doctor.
Yeah. Since I have some bottles, it's the same. that I
You've
just
seen these things
selected.
before.
No,
Oh,
well, not directly. This is something I've been trying to figure out for years. Do you have some time? I know you might be a busy people.
no,
I'd like to
no,
show you
no.
something.
By all means, please. Yes, please do.
All right. So you follow him back into the hospital, but let's jump to some other people for a bit. John, what are you up to?
And finding somewhere nice and quiet. I've got to write up my piece for the magazine anyway.
Okay.
So if we've got a few hours to ourselves, I might well just go home, bang out as quick as I can an article on the award ceremony and send that into my editor. And then I'm
Okay.
going to sit while I'm waiting for him to get back to me, or our appropriate meeting time for the rest, going through that book cover to cover.
Okay. It takes a couple of hours to go through it. It's written by Philip Kramer. And for the most part, let's see, let's write the book. It seems to be your fairly generic book on dreams and dream research, but he does seem to have some knowledge that's behind it. One of the pages that's dog-eared refers to that the dreams can be used to curse people, and it offers a number of solutions to that problem. And one page that you find is this.
Breaking curses contracted through the power of dreams. The curse spreads after the victim is drawn into the dream. As the parasitic infection is magical in origin, it affects the victim regardless of their physical constitution. During the dream, the magician can continually diminish the victim's consciousness level to a degree comparable to Jabanik's last phase. Is there a reference to Jabanik earlier in the text?
I don't know. It's right out of the book.
Okay.
So, yeah, probably some other author.
Okay. In turn, the magician gains power equivalent to the victim's drained consciousness. No memory of this procedure remains upon awakening. Once the infection takes hold, it can be quickened through repeated rituals as described above. To break the curse, definitely taking note here, the stolen consciousness must be returned to the victim's dream body. This is accomplished with a ritual modified from Yoruba seances to expel evil spirits summoned by enemy dream magicians. During the new moon, guess what I'm looking up in a minute in a calendar, the dream magician responsible for the curse is sought out. If several magicians are responsible for the curse, they must be gathered together, as the dismissing ritual must be performed on each person in turn. The outer circle. Make certain those responsible for your curse are located within their temple, as this shall provide you the greatest power. If not, another location can be utilized, as long as it is within 500 paces of their temple. Stone. Under an open sky, face the moon's darkened visage, hold a cup of soot in your right hand and hold a cup of black sand in your left. Begin walking counter to the sun's orbit, visualizing a circle around the temple while sprinkling 2 lines from the cups, sand for the outer circumference and soot for the innermost. While doing so, recite the following summons. Something unpronounceable in something that looks a bit like Latin. Ogil Acrimus, Tu Fortior Malkuth, Adnan Profundior Circ, Fundamenta Succumda, Potentia Gagiel, Dicane Infectoris. Yeah, definitely some Latin bullshit. Complete the circle thrice. At the end of each verse, call out the name of the magician who brought you harm. If there are more than one, call out each name. With your third eye, visualize the temple as an abyss into which your tormentors shall fall. Oh boy, got to grow a third eye. The second circle. With the new moon's face behind you, place yourself 40 paces from the temple. Hold a copper bowl with your blood in your right hand. Hold a bowl of blood from one who does not carry the curse in your left hand. Walk counter to the sun's movement and visualize a circle as you mix the cursed and pure blood upon the ground. Recite the following summoning. More stuff in Latin. Deo.
You don't have to try.
Nah, I'm not. I'm Latin. Lots of Latin. With your third eye, visualize the circle's interior as an abyss into which your pain shall fall. Step into the circle and seek out the magician or magicians who caused your suffering. The third circle, confront your enemy inside their temple, where their power is at its greatest. Complete 3 revolutions around your tormentor, thus creating the final circle. If you have several enemies, complete the circle around them all. Recite the following summoning. More Latin, but it looks like it cuts off.
Oh, maybe I accidentally cut it off. It's just
So
more
it's not like it's missing in the text. It is something else. That's
correct.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, wait, there is a little more. It says, you shall then witness your tormentors receive punishment, afflicting them with tenfold the pain and suffering they placed upon you, forever freeing you from their curse.
That sounds like something I'd like to inflict on someone. Magic, bloody complicated.
Okay, but there does seem to be a way to remove the curse by reversing it onto the wizard or wizards that cast it on you. Let's see. Dieter, what are you up to?
Being more and more paranoid, but I probably, as long as Petra was okay with it, probably stick with Petra for now.
Okay. And Petra, what were you going to do? Since he's sticking with
I
you?
would like to, and probably Dieter can help me with this since we run in similar circles anyway. I want to get to the bottom of the Slavic Association and Philip Kramer. I have the advantage streetwise, which lets me like use my charisma when kind of trying to tempt goods or services from the criminal underworld. So I was wondering if I could maybe, make some phone calls. And I realized that this information is not going to come at the speed of light. Like it'll probably be a few days before I hear back, but at least get the feelers out there that this is what I'm looking for. And maybe ask Dieter for his help as well. Maybe he knows some people I don't.
Okay.
Yes.
Check something real quick. So where do you go back? You probably go back to your
Sure.
headquarters.
Yes.
Your lair.
Yes.
You get back there. Dieter's coming with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you get back there, and you're met by Rolf once again. And as you come in, he takes a look over at Dieter and he says, is it safe?
Yeah, of course.
There's definitely somebody looking for you, or
Again with the
researching
credit
you.
checks?
Yeah, and other funny little things. People ordering like your medical records and
What?
yeah.
Who's
What?
there's no names attached to these requests?
Actually, I checked, and they're all the info is being delivered to a post office box.
Oh, well, give me the post office box. Maybe I can at least wait for that person.
Yeah,
What the hell?
Yeah, I'll take it
yeah.
down.
Something odd is going on.
Something God is going on.
Have you noticed anything weird?
Yeah, a friend of mine. She's got herself wrapped up in something strange. Do you know anything about the Slavic Association?
Doesn't sound
No.
familiar at all.
I need to make some phone calls. I think she got herself messed up in some weird shit.
Yes.
Oh,
I might
Petra.
have.
Petra, describe the room that you're in.
Let's see.
The way you see it in your head.
Sure. It would have to be so. The front of everything I do is this boutique, but there is a back, and so I would say I would have gathered Rolf and Dieter in my office. So I have a very nice like glass desk with like a blotter on it and probably a computer now that I think about it. And just it very pristine and sterile with no hints of like personal like effects to it, just well designed. Like, a beautiful piece of art hangs on the wall, a very nice potted plant in a large vase stands in the corner, that kind of thing.
Bright room, dark room.
Bright. I would say it's bright.
Is there windows with, is it on the ground floor?
No
Is it on the?
Yeah, it's on the ground floor, but no windows.
No windows, okay. All right, so there does seem to be some evidence that you are being followed or watched, or somebody's gathering information on you.
Have one of the others maybe monitor that PO box, see if I might do that myself too, actually, but just in case. I'm not going to be able to spend all of my time there, so send one of the others, what Johan, whatever his name was, that one. Send him to monitor constantly, and I'll probably also be by a couple of times as well. I just don't have the time to dedicate constantly to it.
This is odd, Petra.
So you have a computer.
Yes.
You wanted to find out some more information. So you look up the Slavic Association and get a little bit of information. In fact, it was established in 1961, and it was in East Germany to begin with. Its purpose was to assist German citizens born in the Soviet Union trace relatives and locate documents regarding their family history. The association later sort of expanded and became a broad cultural union of Russian-born Germans and Russians residing in East Germany. There was an office then on Kartenaustrasse in East Germany. 1978, the publisher, Black Sun Publishing, a Russian publishing company, was founded in conjunction with the Slavic Association. They published materials with the association as well as Russian language literature of particular interest to its membership. Since the wall fell, the association broadened its membership to include citizens of the former West Germany. Currently, there are about 840 members. Anton Mahler is the president. Magda Orlova was the vice president. And there are various other members.
Could I do more digging? Like, this feels maybe like a front of some kind, like, is there something I could do to like press in a little bit more, or make a call to somebody who might maybe know how to?
You don't know who you would call, though.
That's fair.
At this point. You might have to do a little more. Well, you still want to do more digging.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, you're not going to get much right now. It might take you a while.
Yes, Petra, I do. If I had contact with some of my old contacts still, I might have been able to. But I severed ties with that life. So it is not ideal for me to be digging back into that life.
That's that fair enough. Fair enough. What about this Philip Kramer, Dieter? Do you know that you could maybe chase that down?
Yes, I'm sure we can figure
Philip
out some more
Kramer,
information on him.
are you talking about where he lives, or
Just his back. I think we know where he lives from Magda's
Yeah.
address book.
That's
but
right,
just
you do
like
have that.
who is
Yes.
this person?
Well, basically do a
background.
background check on
Yeah.
him. That's what I will do.
all right?
Yes.
I'm a security guy after all.
Are you going to do that on the computer, or are you going to go
Whatever
out?
Dieter, however Dieter wants to handle that. That's
I will probably go out and do it from my own. Probably
what
go
you can
back to
find.
my place and then contact Petra once I've found.
Okay, so you're literally going to go and see if you can find him.
No, I'm just going to go back to my place and do the stuff
Okay,
from
and do the
my
research
castle.
from there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you leave and you head on home. Ingolf, what are you up to?
I'm looking up Black Sun Publishing.
It is, in fact, in the same building as the Slavic Association. And you find that they publish various things in German and Russian, more Russian than anything else. Things that would be of interest to people who are looking for their roots. But you do believe that they might be, well, you know that they are also publishing some occult literature, like the Dream Book.
And is there anything such as like president of the publishing company, editor-in-chief,
So,
submission criteria? What is available? Or
secrets. Oh, wait, here we go. Sorry about this. Let's see. Black Sun Publishing. It's owned and operated by the Slavic Association. So the president would also be Anton Mahler.
okay.
They do have an office that is open to the public, and their hours of operation.
I'm gonna go pay it a visit.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring with me some samples of my own work.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna.
All right. So you're on your way over there. Who haven't we touched on yet or lately? Dietrich. Oh, yes. Dietrich and Heinz. So the doctor, I'll give you his full name. It's Dr.
Dr. Richter.
Dr. Richter. It's I had a longer name. I think it's Dr. Hans Richter.
Makes me feel a little judged.
He says, is this right? Comes this way. And down some corridors you go, and you get in an elevator, and you go down to the sub-basement, and come out. Everything is not so nice as the rest of the hospital. Everything is cement. There's a red line on the wall that sort of follows you along as you go.
He says, this is here's a morgue. Come inside. And when he opens the door, you can smell formaldehyde, which is not very pleasant. You can still smell Magda's perfume. She must have tried very hard to cover up what was going on with her. You come inside, and her body. There's maybe it's a big room. There's maybe 10 metal tables. There's a lot of equipment. There's very bright, harsh lights. Magda's body is lying on one of the tables, and you can see that there's these rubs on her that are it's almost like it's like a little choir of like his fingernails on a blackboard, and you can see the doctor kind of flinches too. He immediately comes and he says, "Now you can see them. I've got some in the jars over here. You see?" And he points. He throws a blanket over her, and you can see the little worms wriggle underneath the blanket.
It's not really my field. Do you have any idea what they might be? Or
Well, that is what I want to talk to you about. I can't discuss this with anyone here. Nobody seems to be able to see it but me. But the first time that I ran across this was in a book that I was reading. It had to do with right after the World War II. There was let me show you. It's a book. Let me go get it for you. And he goes into the other room and comes back with actually 2 books. And he says, this one here, this one's written in Russian. I don't know if you speak or read Russian.
yes, no, I'm not bad.
Well, this one's written by Valentin Lubimov. He says, I first encountered these sentences in this old medical literature. It describes Russian soldiers after World War II, and they were diagnosed with what he called intestinal worms. But judging from the description, it was something completely different. It was not intestinal worms at all. And he shows a picture in the book of a couple of Russian soldiers that have what looks like exactly the same thing that Magda has. And he says in this book here, that book, by the way, was Valentin Lubimov's The Diseases of War, a Pathological Overview. The other book is by Anthony Toporov, The Curse of Diseases. It's an English book from 1922, and he shows you more pictures of people covered in the same kind of boils. This is a book about curses, black magic, as it were. There's a detailed clinical description of the disease's progress. I noticed similarities to Lubimov's descriptions of the disease. Topimov witnessed the infection in Leningrad before the 1917 revolutions. In his book, he claims it was caused by a curse, which can be dispelled by magic. He claims a witch performed the ritual to inflict these symptoms. And look here, you see, a power acquired from the suffering can later be utilized in other magic rituals. Be that as it may, this shows that this parasite, whatever it is, existed in Russia. Now, your friend Magda, she was Russian, yes?
Yes.
Well, I'm certain that this is a rare parasitic infection, which only inflicts certain patients who suffer from something I call Harold syndrome. It's a rare immunodeficiency disorder. The immunodeficiency isn't dangerous of itself, but it opens the door for certain parasites. I have to conduct more experiments on Magda to see, if my hypothesis is correct. When do you think that she was infected?
Dr. Richter, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The samples that you have, the personnel here in the hospital think they are empty.
Yes, they don't see anything.
They know that you have empty jars on a shelf, and they think.
Well, I have a lot of empty jars. Yeah, they don't seem to notice, and they don't come down here very often.
And when you see, in the case of our friend Magda Orlova, did they all come down with her? Did they stay on the?
I think some of them seem to have fallen off, but they don't seem to linger very far from the body. My guess is the one that you had in your thing would have disappeared at some point.
It may yet, yeah.
They'll all disappear eventually, but
so they evaporate. And this situation with Magda, where she seemed to revive momentarily, that's unique in your experience?
Well, this is really the only first time that I've seen this in person.
Oh, you only see them on the bodies, not in the you only see them on the corpses, not on the subjects.
Well, no, I've never seen this before in real life. I've only seen it in medical literature.
But in the jars?
Well, that's from her. I collected those as soon as.
Oh, you were just ahead of us. I see. I didn't understand.
Then I ran out to find you.
Doctor, do either of your books speculate on why it is that some people can't see these things?
I don't know. I don't know why I can see them for some reason. But I don't seem to have been affected. And I've definitely touched her.
Yeah. And you don't have Russian ancestry.
I mean, it may be that, well, if you wouldn't mind, I could do some tests and we could see if I can draw any conclusions. And when he says that, you notice him looking, like at your neck on the side, and
I do not object to your drawing blood, but we will have to be anonymous.
Oh, of course. I mean, nobody needs to know this but us. But I might guess that you are in the first stages of infection, both of you.
We believe that, well, we had contact with Madame Orlova for the first time in some time, just on Saturday in Hamburg, after a long absence.
Let me draw some blood. I'll check and see if there's a commonality, if you are in fact infected. And it's just the two of you?
No, there are a few others.
Oh.
And some who may be in more advanced stage.
Well, I have to tell, I mean, I can't say that I know of anything to do to assist, but you would definitely be assisting me by allowing me to study you, study what's happening, study the stages as they progress, if they do. I mean, it sounds rather gruesome, but medical.
Well, I'm not agreeing to anything other than a small blood draw now, and we'll take your information rather than give you ours, but it may be useful for us and for others. I certainly, having seen the way that Magda went, I do not want to follow.
Do you have any idea when she was infected?
I think, cousin, we agree that she came back to Berlin seemingly healthy, and when she left Berlin for Hamburg, she was already sick. So it's a matter of weeks. Perhaps
She
longer.
wasn't displaying visible symptoms of this when we met her, though.
Oh, she was covered up.
Yes,
And
she was covered up, and
her friend in
perhaps,
Hamburg said that she looked sickly when she arrived.
Well, if we go by some of the stuff said in these two books here, the progression of the disease can be anywhere from 2 to 6 months. They didn't know of a remedy. Toporov suggested there must be some sort of magical means.
I'm inclined to agree with him. When you're dealing with something that, I mean, for goodness sake, these things seem to be invisible to some people, at least. That's outside the bounds of the normal.
Well, I was trained as a medical professional and a scientist, but I'm inclined to believe, yes, it's something that must be like magic, a witchcraft. You didn't piss off a witch or anything, did you? And somebody affected her, so somebody has cursed you all. I don't know who, and I don't know for what purpose, but perhaps I shall do my medical research and you can do your magical research and see what we can come up with.
Well,
Do you know, Magda was trying to arrange the purchase of a Russian text that was hard to come by. So perhaps she was trying to solve this on her own. Curious that it came from the East regardless. Please, Herr Dr. Richter, if you'll draw our blood, we have other matters. And we'll take your card and
everything will remain in confidence. I mean, I myself don't want people to know.
Yes, that frankly, if it weren't for the fact that you would seem like a lunatic, I would be afraid to subject myself to your science. But
I assure you, I have a medical degree. It's over there on the wall. It's written in crayon.
oh yes, so, I see. It's under the sign that so it confirms that you do not have donkey brains.
It's true. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's done by my 5-year-old nephew. So he draws blood.
Is that a real Miskatonic University metaphysics degree, or did you buy that somewhere?
No. I studied very hard. I've read every evil tome there is. All right, we're getting
I must admit I cheated in my metaphysics exam, but that's someone else's joke, and I'm not going to plagiarize it.
All right. So he draws blood. He labels it. And he did you give him a phone number where he can call you when he's got results?
Oh no, I'm taking his card.
You'll call him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you leave the hospital. Where are you going to head to? I forget if you guys were all going to get together at some point.
We're meeting, I think, at something like 4 by Philip's apartment, which we all know the address of.
Okay.
I assume that any time between now and then, Professor Boner and I will be spending at a beer garden.
Okay.
Trying not to scratch.
Ingolf, you pull up in front of a building
Oh, where did it go? It's got an interesting sort of logo on the front, a circle with like spikes coming out of it. And you can see that it's a Black Sun Publishing, but it's also got a door right next to it that's the Slavic Association. What would you like to do?
I'll walk into Black Sun Publishing.
You step inside. You can see immediately that there are like publication samples and things around the room. There's things on display. There are newsletters, there are books, and then there is a whole section of occultism, magic, and Eastern European politics. As you walk inside, there is a woman behind a reception desk. She says, "Good morning."
Good morning. How are you today?
Welcome to Black Sun Publishing. Do you have an appointment? Is there something I can help you with?
I don't. I've come across a number of your books and was curious to to see more of your catalog. I'm something of a writer myself, and thought you had some good material to research for a book that I'm writing.
What sort of stuff do you write?
Well, I write horror fiction.
Horror fiction.
Have your occult texts in particular fascinate me.
Well, we don't do fiction. Most of ours are translations of other texts, or written by members of the association. But I mean, if you wanted to submit something, we could take a look at it and see.
Oh, who would I be submitting that to?
Well, it would probably go to either Mr. Mahler or one of the other members of the board. Perhaps Miss Orlova or someone. If it's really good, I mean, it might. We definitely consider publishing it.
Oh, that's great. And you just have your occult books right over here.
Yes. You can have. Here's some samples, and here's a catalog of what we have. We also have a. Wait, I don't have a website. We may have a website. No. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a kind of a nice place.
I want to see what books they have in the same vein as The Power of Dreams. What are these other?
Nothing that really stands out. Just nothing else by Philip Kramer. There's things that look fairly generic, nothing really that pops out. But if you need anything, if you're sort of looking over the building itself,
Yeah.
It's multi-storied, but it doesn't seem to have a great deal of security. Just a receptionist, and who would want to break into a publishing outfit anyway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll kind of smile and I say, well, I think I have a couple of ideas and I might.
Do you have a card? Are you?
Yes.
Are you of Russian nationality or?
No, but I have strong ties with people who were in East Berlin.
Excellent.
before the merge.
Excellent.
Yes, I actually. This is something it's one of the short stories of mine was inspired by Magda. I've met her on a number of occasions.
Oh, Magda Arlova.
Yes.
Yeah, she's our vice president. So you've met her.
Yes.
She's not in today. But if you leave your card, I'll be sure and pass it on. Tell her you were here.
Yes. Well, and if she's not available, here I'll leave you a sample. So I'll leave her a copy of my short story collection, Heartbeats.
Okay.
And mark the story, The Tracks in the Snow, and leave it with my card and say, I think this might be of interest. It was inspired by a story of one of your members, and loosely, of course, but it was the inspiration, and you might be interested in it.
Cool. Some of the publications, some of the new publications that are on display, there are 8 new titles. Some of them are Through the Heart of Darkness, A Journey Through Death, The Angel of Pain, Messengers from the Underworld, things like that. It says the other 2 releases are political and economic analysis of the current situation in the former Soviet Union.
The Angel of Pain will be interesting once I've heard some information that I don't have at the minute. I think so. For now, well, thank you so much for your time. I'll take the catalog with me.
Okay. And off you go.
Off I go.
All right. Was there anything else before we sort of get back together again? All right.
Did Dieter's research come up with anything before he met us?
That's a good point. Started in full background check like I do on most people when
Who are you background checking?
Why have I forgotten his name?
Philip Kramer.
Philip Kramer.
You don't find much more. You find some old articles. The man was definitely an artist. His work was rather postmodern and kind of weird. Then he got heavily into drugs and alcohol. He went into rehab a number of times, and eventually sort of got in with a Satanist group, and eventually kind of took over control of that. And you're not quite sure, but after that, it doesn't really say much. He just seems to pop up here and there, and he's
more of the spotlight these days.
Well, and he's considered, he's kind of a has-been at this point.
Is he from Berlin? Do we know that?
He's been in Berlin most of his life, but the indications are that he's probably Russian.
After I've done Nags, I would probably end up getting to his place before everyone else because I'd be sat watching. Observing.
Oh, that's right. You guys were going to head over to his house.
Yeah.
All right. Dieter, you do and observe the situation.
Yeah. I was going to
You're in your car across the street waiting for everybody else to show up.
Okay, that's a 14.
Okay, you can ask one question.
Okay. What is being hidden from me is probably...
Okay. So you're sitting there, and This actually looks like a small cottage. You're sitting there, and it takes you a while to figure this out, but you're sitting there, you notice a car pull up in front of it, and a man get out. He's in a business suit, and he has a briefcase in hand, and he goes inside. But it didn't look like Philip Kramer. You see him go inside. The lights are on inside. And after a few minutes, you can hear what sound like clinks, like clinking dishes and things. And in the front window is open. It's a big sort of bay window with curtains, but the curtains are open. You can see him sit down to a table. He's taken off his jacket, and a woman starts serving him food. But before he begins to eat, you see two little children come running down the stairs in the inside, and they run up to him, and the woman gets them seated, and she starts serving them food, and then they all start to sit there, and they're eating dinner. And just about the time you notice somebody else in the group pull up to join you, you begin to realize this isn't Philip Kramer's house. This is some guy got home from work, and he's just having dinner with his family.
So whoever arrives first, I don't know who would arrive.
Who will it be? Probably Petra.
Anything?
I think we have been played here. Or it might be an older dress, but I have been sat here. This is just a man sitting down with his family to eat food. It just seems like a family home. Seems to be no sign of Philip.
Strange that Petra would have the wrong address for him in her address book.
Possibly old address?
I think I see the others. Wrong
Maybe.
house. It's not him.
I'm thinking old address, maybe that was something we missed. I don't know. Sometimes people hide things within.
It does look like the house may have been recently repainted. Like maybe it's sold and resold sometime in the last year or two.
So old house is a good bet.
So that's not surprising.
If we go by what Adler said, Magda came back here, things got bad or worse. She fled things, including Philip,
Yes.
up to Hamburg, and then Philip shows up Hamburg. Maybe
Well, Dietrich, I wouldn't be surprised if Philip had a smaller hidden place going by this Satanist background he seemingly has accrued.
Ingolf, did you
Might.
find anything at the publisher?
You guys are all out in the front of this house by your cars. Do you want to go somewhere more?
Yes,
Private?
let's.
Yes.
Yeah.
once
Where would
we've
you
all
like-
collected, we should,
Just a little bit more private.
Where would you like to go?
Dietrich, is your bookshop closed? Perhaps we could just gather there.
It won't close until 6, but there's a back room and we can be private and I can make coffee. Yeah, that sounds fine.
All
And
right.
there's some things that I can look up while we're there. So yeah, good plan.
All right. So you drive over to Dietrich's shop. It's still open. It's brightly lit in the front. There's a few customers inside. And as you walk in, Jakob comes over and he says, Mr. Zimmerman, he says, I don't know what's going on, but we've been getting a lot of weird phone calls today. People trying to locate you, people wanting to know where you are, but
Are there the numbers or
not giving me any information. It's like they're fishing for something.
Oh, that's interesting. Accents or no names, anything?
To be honest, it sounds like they're trying to disguise their voice. They're talking like this, or
Well,
doing pirate voices, or
as soon, when you started working here, Jakob, I told you that because we have an occult section, we get some weirdos. But if it's a flurry, that's interesting for sure.
Now you guys are still standing kind of in the front of the shop as you walked in. Jacob sort of met you there. I would like Dieter, Petra, John to do a observe the situation.
$11.
17.
Also 11.
Okay. So you're all standing there, having this conversation, and your shop is, a little dust. It's not dirty. But it's got books everywhere, and so there's a measure of dust. And Dieter, as you're looking around and keeping your eye open, you notice this thin little line of red coming in the front window and being lit up by the dust in the room. What do you do?
Everybody, get down.
And as Dieter sort of leaps to kind of knock some of you down, the front window shatters, and a hail of bullets come flying in and hit some of the bookcases and books. You all end up flat on the ground. That's where we're going to end it for tonight. And now for the post game. We should have just done that before I did that, but whatever. I'll cut and edit it. All right, post game.
We found out
Hey,
where Magda was.
We found Magda.
Yeah.
Down Magda.
Oh.
And I think we found out what's happened to make us all ill, or at least got an inkling of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get that if it's no longer like I think it was kind of like our quest in the first episode, right? I don't know how that works. Like that was originally kind of a question for us, and then we
You let
kind of
go
moved
of
on.
it. Yeah, so it's not anymore. You're not going to get experience points for it. Is that correct, Matt?
It's as long as you act upon trying to find out, because in this case, it's more like investigate what's making us ill, and because it's all tied around a verb, or investigate what happened to Magda. So we did kind of do both of those.
But I have sort of abandoned what made us ill.
Yeah, I gave myself a point for that because we investigated it already and then like moved on to a different hook.
Right. And my two for this one were Mary's Magda and what is the odd Russian text. And I have an inkling, but yeah, I think
Right. I'm looking at my old hooks rather than my current ones.
Gotcha.
We
So
certainly did learn something about what is ill, but we stopped looking at that. But we sure found Magda.
There's like a series of questions, right? Also, I'm gonna call you John, but you're not John, Matt. Right? Okay. I'm getting the hang of it now.
Have we discovered anything new about the truth?
I think that's
With the boils and
I think we all get that, but we should do the first.
And also magic as well, that there is dream magic out there that we've potentially been hit by?
Yeah.
We get a point for that.
Well, let's
Yeah,
do
if
in
you-
order. Like, I'll get confused otherwise.
Okay.
So all of us had where's Magda. So we all get one for that.
Yes.
And then individually, I had what is the odd Russian text she was looking for. And I have a theory, but I really didn't do that myself. So I don't think I get a point for that. I think that's a 1 on that side.
Yeah, likewise. I got find Magda. My other one was investigate SA. Someone else did that, so I will ditch that one.
Mhm.
My other one was find out what Magda's worth to us, and I definitely haven't found that out, and I'm not sure that I'm going to find that out. I might actually drop that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I
think-
guess it's a kind of like, what's the nature, what is she worth to us is kind of nebulous. I mean, I guess it could,
You didn't
We
expect
were-
her to die, so
it's true.
thought there might be something else.
Well, and I could kind of like retool it instead of what is she worth to us? It's like, what is happening to her, like tying into what is happening to us, something like that, basically. But that might be what you want all of us to investigate, Tom. So
Right. And you might as well like cut it so as to free
Right.
yourself,
yeah. All right.
just so you can make one or get, yeah.
What about you, Morgan?
My other hook was I should confront Philip and showed up to his house, but he doesn't live there. So
But you tried to.
I tried, but we had the wrong address.
That's a genuine effort, though. I mean, you did everything in your power based on the last episode to confront him. So I think that's probably a point.
Thanks.
Yeah, because as long as you attempt it, that's the main thing.
Thank you.
What about you, Josh? Well, yours was
Oh.
confronting the people stalking
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah, mine is still about confronting the people following. So-
Your own shadow.
You gonna
I
drop
feel
that
like
one, or
I-
are you keeping it?
I feel like now that there's definitely, I feel like I can keep it still
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure that is, I'm
Mhm.
going to be confronting someone.
You have a feeling they're holding a laser pen about now, yeah?
I feel like this will be in need.
What was yours, Mick? Was yours about the dreams?
Mine was to find out what the dreams mean, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. 'Cause this is going to need Tom's approval, but I think I have found out what the dreams mean in a way, because it seems to me that the dreams were an indication that we'd been infected with this thing or cursed or whatever's happened to us. But
I feel like you have all that data from other people, though. We just, I mean, the doctor didn't know, and Magda didn't
well, we
know.
know that Magda was infected with it, and we know that we've become infected with it, and we all had this dream at the same time.
Well,
So
and
I'm speculating that the dream is in some way connected with whatever has caused this infection.
well, and your scooping up of the little worm led you to the doctor who had those books that reference the dreams are associated with the curse, or at least the disease is associated with the curse.
I find that
Which was
convincing.
so your action led to the discovery of a clue related to the dreams. That's
Yes,
I
yes.
buy
I mean,
it.
I'll admit it is a bit of a stretch, but I think it does have a bearing on it. So, if nothing else, I am at least approaching the issue.
I think that the fact that you're speculating means that you are trying to figure out what the dreams mean. So, yeah, you got it. That doesn't
Also,
mean
going
that
back
you
to scoop up the
have-
worm.
It doesn't mean that you have succeeded yet in understanding what the dreams
Oh.
mean.
Yeah, but I do think that in terms of the mechanic being about moving the narrative in interesting ways, you're going back to grab one of the dream maggots while I just wanted to hightail it out of that hospital as soon as possible. was a very interesting choice and led to interesting outcomes.
But it's a fascinating thing, isn't it? I mean, you can't, at the very least, when you get old, you need to start a cabinet of curiosities. And I thought that might be quite good. I mean, there's just that. And Jeremy Bentham's head.
Okay, so if you are
We've all got
coming
one
up
of those.
with something new.
Do we need
um,
to cover the 3 questions to finish out
Yeah.
like the XP round?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, do that.
So we did learn something new. So that's
have,
XP.
have we learned anything new about our characters?
Well, so we gave me a point last time for learning that someone was looking into me. So I feel like it's fair to give that to Dietrich this time because it sounds like someone's now looking into him.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Also, yeah. I could accept that on. Yeah. I mean, those of us who weren't already paranoid now know that we're under attack.
When
And-
you're always paranoid, you always expect the worst.
And of course, Petra's going to corroborate like, oh, someone's following me. So that's also going to create a big web too. So yeah, I don't.
Dieter just got confirmation that he's not as paranoid as he
True.
thought he was.
True.
So
In fact,
he's
he's going to be harder to deal with in the future
Gonna
now
be
that he's.
insufferable.
I would say that's probably learning something new for my
I would
character.
agree. Yeah.
Fucking hell. I've done it.
What have you done?
I've been fiddling with the bridge things on my glasses for about the last hour to try and make them comfortable. And I've just hit it. I'm there.
I'm not sure
That's
that
nothing.
counts as learning about.
No, but I'm in this. I'm frightened to move now.
Real life
I'm just-
experience right there.
Yeah, this is it's one of those small victories.
What's the other question?
Have
Did
we,
we challenge ourselves?
Wait, no, I actually have a question about the second one. Wouldn't we have all learned that we have the boils? Is that like new information we've learned about ourselves?
Well, you don't know for sure yet.
We don't.
but
Okay, I thought we'd had confirmation. Okay, never mind.
The doctor wanted to test you.
Okay,
So the rest of
Never
you
mind.
want to go get tested.
that's.
I mean, you
fair.
might not even know yet because you really
Right, we
haven't
haven't-
discussed it.
That's
amongst each other.
The one thing that's interesting about this longer form cult for me is that usually we're sort of all on the same basket, and in this situation where we have things to say to each other, it's novel in this format to me. Like we have every 4 hours we have to catch up in secret and also not seem crazy.
Okay, so what was the third question? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Did you
that.
challenge yourself?
Have we challenged ourselves?
I have a feeling that when I try to perform this damn ritual, then I'm going to be challenging myself, but not yet.
That ritual. Good.
Do you know? I think that going into an operating theatre and removing a quasi-invisible magical worm
Oh yeah.
that was gnawing on the dead body of an old friend of mine could be described as challenging.
I
Hell
would
yeah.
agree with that. I would agree with that.
I think that I want to give Dietrich a challenge point for not fleeing the hospital immediately, let alone sort of reaching out and trusting the doctor a little bit, which
I did forget to have you do a roll, hold it together, but
the only thing Dietrich's good at. So
I probably would have remembered that or done it if there had been more of you there. But having you all run out you wouldn't have gotten any of that information.
So now what are our new hooks?
Did we get all 3 questions?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
we can sort out what we can buy, because I know I've hit 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm at
qualifies for
7
the
experience, so
Oh,
I would
6.
like to.
I'm at 8. Ooh.
So once you decide on what replacement hook you want, please write it in the thing. That's very helpful.
You give us one, right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
I don't have a replacement. I'm keeping mine. so-
I'm torn between. There's a couple of options for what I'm thinking about buying. I could get my charisma up to a +4, my soul to a +3, or I could just go for it and get enhanced awareness. And I think I might want enhanced awareness.
What's the threshold, the XP threshold for that improvement?
You
5.
with 5. So with 5, I would take the option of buying a new advantage from my archetype, which as an
Cool.
artist I can get enhanced awareness.
Very cool.
And I think I'm going to do that
I'm-
because enhanced awareness is great.
Mhm.
I'm going to increase my coolness with 5.
So we're spending before we get new hooks?
No, we should
That-
probably do hooks. We're kind of sticking on the
hooks.
same vein. We should probably do hooks.
Hooks, because I'll probably change my mind on what I'm
All
spending.
right, yeah. Dieter's sticking with his, which is confront. Who's
Yeah, come from my followers.
My general one for everyone will be, who is Piotr?
To investigate Piotr.
Investigate Piotr. Which all you have to do is go, who's Piotr? And then technically you have investigated.
Ching!
I believe that's Dostoevsky's first name.
Are you
Ding.
keeping David, are you keeping the Russian book one as well?
Well, that's a question because it seems there's two things. One is that I don't know yet that SA publishes all these Russian books, and that the Dream book specifies this thing. So, and character, I don't know about that. But also, having had my shop just fired upon, like that might recede into the distance a bit. Like I've got some sort of more immediate concerns, but I guess we all have the immediate concern who just shot up my bookstore.
Well, can a dramatic hook be phrased in like not getting my ass shot off? Is that something I could have as a dramatic hook?
As long as it's got a verb in there that maybe avoid getting your ass shot off.
Avoid getting killed.
Right, but that's where we all start the.
I feel like we should all have, well, not maybe all, someone should have the goal of figuring out like why, who and or why is shooting at us. I mean, I know that Dieter's is to confront the people, but like a whole other
Those are
thing
his
is
people, particularly.
why.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna set aside explore the Russian text, but you can reassign it to me if that's what makes sense.
No, if you get the choice to drop it yourself. Like we don't get to.
I'm dropping it, but
dictate
but since Tom's given me one and I have none,
Gotcha.
that leaves one for the group. So it could be investigate
likewise.
Russian text.
Well, practically speaking, I don't know if this is legal for me to say this, but practically speaking, Dietrich, how could you possibly know what she was looking for? I mean, she didn't tell anybody, or
Well, I had the idea of calling because we had the phone number for the book dealer in Spain who she contacted, and then just saying, "Hi, I'm following up on."
Yeah, my friend
Magda's.
Magda just died, and she was looking for this book, and I'm curious about what she was asking about. There was a sort of a more early 20th century noir way to explore that, but it doesn't have to be relevant to this.
I'm sticking with the dream
Okay.
thing
Mhm.
because, frankly, I've invested far too much time in that now, and I'm not going to give up.
Should we give John something with the book? I don't know.
hadn't-
I don't know if you should be reading from the book at this junction or not, but
Oh, I did have an idea for one if people want to go second it, which was complete a trial run of that ritual, actually practice doing it ahead of when we need to
Okay.
do it.
So like
Then
you should
essentially laying.
say you should prepare for the ritual,
Hmm.
like memorizing the Latin
Yeah,
or something to. Because that seems like a good place to start. All the actions are. If you don't know how to even pronounce the Latin properly, then you're already, shit out of luck.
Yeah,
And you've got to assemble all the bits and pieces and all the ritual baths and the fasting or whatever that go.
and blood.
Mm.
Yeah,
Just,
that's good.
I'm I'm hoping it lays the groundwork for the section on after 5 advancements. You may also choose select a new advantage from any aware archetype. So I'm thinking potentially later on, much down the line, getting the dabbler in the occult advantage, because that is pretty damn good.
Yeah, preparing.
Yes, you shouldn't. It's very good for your digestion.
I was thinking for myself, confront the people who are attempting to get all this information out of me and presumably Dietrich as well at the post office, the post box.
Mm.
But if anyone has a better idea, lay it on me. I'm open to suggestion.
How do you write your things, and also what you're going to upgrade.
And we need to get Morgan. I think Morgan.
Yeah,
needs
I
another-
don't have one, and
I'm gonna just set my XP points aside for now.
Let them build up for a while.
I'll come back to them after next session. See what I can do.
And who would like to do the recap? I mean, who's going to do the recap?
I'm quite happy to do the recap.
That's a good one too. Yeah, you got the yeah. All right, Morgan, what can we give Ingolf to look
Do
into?
blow by blow on the worms.
Where?
Don't blow in the words.
Something more to do with the bookshop? I don't know.
with the publishing company, what are
Yeah.
the?
Well, and I'm thinking about that too, is in my capacity as a book person. Like, can I get a catalog of Black Sun? Not
Yeah,
not the catalog you have, but like the full published works of the Black Sun. Is that? I mean,
Probably, and you're another publisher, so
in books, not a
Yeah.
publisher, but yeah.
right. Yeah.
But then maybe we might be, foolishly redundant in that regard.
I'm thinking investigate why the Slavic Association is interested in the occult.
Okay.
They're publishing they're publishing stuff, like their idea is to dig up records for Russian orphans to find out about their past.
Yeah.
Where does the occult fit into that? Why did they spawn a publishing company that's publishing occult material and like esoteric stuff?
And
It's so
Magda's an
strange.
orphan, isn't she?
She is.
Right. So that's like the question. If Engolf wants to open that can of worms, is Magda a subject of this orphan project? And how does the orphan project enter into the world of occult publications? That's
So I guess I would say so investigate essays ties to the occult. Why Black Sun? Why?
Well, Black Sun just is such a, jolly candy-like name for a publishing company that nobody would feel suspicious of. Who wouldn't want to call themselves the Black Sun? What negative connotations could that possibly have? Spiky crown.
So does that make sense for my
think
host?
so,
Do you guys
for
think
sure,
investigate the association between Black Sun or the occult essays association with the occult? All right.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that leaves me still wanting.
I thought,
I mean, we could do something regarding the doctor.
oh, follow
Since-
up. I mean,
since
is that a
Hindstone
thing?
and-
Because it's kind of what you were going to do anyway. Is that still a thing to say like
I mean,
follow up with the doctor?
Oh, he's gonna if he goes and does it, that's the main thing. It's now he just gets a mechanical extra out of it.
If it's acceptable to make a suggestion, the doctor has access to all sorts of things, records, untainted blood.
I was thinking Deirdre's wife personally, but
Yeah, I was like getting a pint out of Selma is going to be, might be better off with the maggots. Okay, so my second will be liaise with head Dr. Richter.
Excellent. Yeah. I have a question. The wording on this is confusing to me. I see the advancements are increase an active attribute, increase a passive attribute, increase any one attribute. What is the difference between that third point and the previous 2 points?
right, because the previous two can only go to a maximum of +3.
Okay.
The one time increase anything goes to a maximum.
Oh, it's a
of
one.
+4.
Oh, those are check boxes. You can do that one time. Okay. Okay. I was wondering what those little boxes were. Got it. Thank you.
And then say after 5 of them, you also then get the option of the ones beneath it. And then after 10, you then
Right,
get the big
got
one,
it.
potentially advanced to an enlightened archetype. Sod's Law says this is where I purchased my one, the advantage I mentioned in the chat. And then we don't find anything more like that now.
I'm sure there'll be plenty more.
I have a feeling you're about to go and create a crime scene.
Well, you know,
We're in a crime scene right now.
we're
In
being
progress.
shot. We're being shot at. I've got the gun. You know, I feel like with my advantages, I'm gonna probably still get like completely destroyed. My gun will be like this, and I'll end up shooting all of you.
I like the
Petra's
sound
got
of
a gun.
enhanced awareness. That sounds good. It reminds me of we had a game of Toon once where one of the characters decided that one of the players decided that his character was going to have a new skill he'd thought of called DVD extras, which was that he had access to the extras menu from the box set of his cartoons. And this then led to this whole vast sort of scenario destroying tangent where he was basically creating parallel universes. And that then it ruined the game. It's very funny,
Toon.
but it ruined the game. Yeah, you can't. There's Toon. You don't get to the end of the scenario. It just.
I thought I was the only person who ever played Toon.
I played it
Toon's
once.
great.
It's Dr. Hans Gregor Richter.
It's Richter or Richter? You've written Richter.
Probably
Let me
right.
check.
Richter means judge and has only one early vowel. Richter, I don't think is a name, but it could be. Names
Sorry,
are
it's
funny.
just R-I-C-H.
Yeah, Richter.
Richter.
I see Petra going for all the NPC friendly advantages.
Of course. Yeah, I took forked tongue.
You there? Are we almost there?
I'm good. That was it for me.
Cool. And off into the darkness we shall go.
It's anticipation for the horrors that are to come.
Bang, 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 bang.
This is where I regret taking a -2 in violence.
Deacon,
Don't worry.
don't kill everyone. We'll have to start all over again.
Don't worry, I just upped my violence. So.
Well, do you know who else
know-
has a -2 in violence?
That guy.
It's actually a good question. Matt, what happens if a character dies in this game? Do we
In
replace
terms
them,
of-
or?
In terms of setting wise or character mechanic wise,
Character mechanic wise?
they just generate a new PC.
You become
Hi guys, I'm infected too.
Oh boy.
I was on the table next to you and I realized that I have got this shit all over my body now.
Someone has to take on Zelma now. And
We can take on Dr. Richter. He could come in and say, that thing I said about not getting infected, I was
Okay.
wrong.
No, Dieter dies, and then all of a sudden this person shows up like at somebody else's house. They suspend down and they're wearing night vision goggles. And they're like, guys, I've been
and then
watching
get
you."
shot immediately and make a new character.
yeah, narratively, I don't know how that would work, but
It seems a lot more difficult in this game than it would in Call of Cthulhu to bring in somebody else.
right.
Because you guys don't like share your information with the outside world.
Well,
Yeah.
but also the way you get damaged here is very different.
Yeah.
It's true.
You can be in an explosion and only slightly go up the scale of stability or down.
All right.
Like the taking major and critical wounds, you have to take a fair amount before you actually keel over and die.
All right. Well, that being said, let's end it there. Our players included Matthew Sanderson, David Gasaway, Holly Buteau, Morgan Llewellyn, Josh Harwood, and Mick Swan, with yours truly as the keeper, as the game master. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Riley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe, for another adventure into the strange and terrifying world of KULT Divinity Lost role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.